I never really understood the big deal when it came to weddings. But since moving back home to Nigeria 6 years ago and getting married, I soon found out how big a deal it really is. But what happens once the party's over and it's just the two of you? I started to think about this. As much as I've heard about the romance of it all, I've also heard about the stress, the fallouts, fights, and everything in between. Divorced after 6 months, happy being a mistress, the 7-year itch, 8 years dating but no ring in sight. The topics were endless. So I wanted to see what regular people had to say on these topics. I've spoken to single people, married people, and counselors. Maybe if we're all open about our experiences, someone out there may be able to take something good out of this. And I might learn a thing or two myself. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of So You Want to Get Married. So You Want to Get Married is table talk where we talk about anything and everything to do with love, dating, marriage, sex, you name it, we talk about it. Today I've got 3 fantastic guests. First up, we have got TV presenter and musician Kwame. Kwame, how you doing?
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Thank you. Good
I like
to see
your
you.
get-up. Very nice, very
Thank
nice.
you very much.
Next, we have got relationship blogger Juro. Juro, how you doing?
Nice to meet you. I'm doing good.
Nice to meet you. Good to see you. You two, these guys are really repping today. And last but definitely not least, we have got Wale, and he is an entrepreneur. Wale, how you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
Good to see you. All male panel. It's like finding a unicorn. The reason I'm talking about the all male panel is that, like I said, this show we talk about relationships and all that stuff. And I know the people that you guys can't see, crew and everything, will testify that to get guys to come on the show, especially for particular episodes, is always difficult. It's like, you guys don't want to talk about your feelings. Why? Why? So anyway, I'm very happy that you're all here. And this is actually going to be a 2-part episode. So I'm really, really excited. Today's topic is, can you learn to love someone in a relationship? And by that, I mean, you know, if you're in a relationship, do you think the passion can grow, the chemistry can grow, and then you end up loving that person? So I've got a few testimonials to read first off. Let me just read the first one. It's Levi from California. Says, I've been with a woman whom I didn't find sexy. She had a pretty face, but her body was just bland. No bum, no boobs, plain body. She had great qualities, but I eventually ended the relationship because it was always difficult to want to be with her. No sex appeal whatsoever. Now, with that being said, what do you guys think? Let us start with Wale. So Wale, let's start with you. Do you think that you can kind of grow into being in love with someone or kind of become more compatible? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do. I think so. I mean, I can kind of speak for myself.
Okay.
Being in a relationship, there are a few things that you kind of have to get before you be with somebody. I think when you see somebody physically, naturally you have to be attracted to somebody to actually establish a relationship. But there are some things that you can't determine upon that initial interaction. That over time you gather. Relationship will actually dictate how long that would be. So I think that's naturally how it works. Typically you get attracted to somebody, and that's the how you get over the hump, and then over time you build the love. I don't believe in the notion of love at first sight because you can't really determine all the factors upon one interaction. So.
Okay. Kwame, what do you think?
Well, to be honest, I mean, adding on to his point, it does take a little bit of time for you to grow into loving someone, because then eventually it goes beyond just you being attracted to them.
Yeah.
But then what happens to the fact that you can fall in love with someone that you're not attracted to because of how someone is talking to you, treating you. You fall in love with the person inside, and you forgo how they look. But then it's it's an on-the-fence situation, because sometimes you do need to be attracted to someone before you go sleep with them. Yeah, initially, yeah. So So when I think about it, I think it will take some time, yes, to get to fall in love with someone, but then that will take care.
So you do think it's possible?
It is possible, yes.
Okay, Juro, what do you think?
It's very, very possible.
Okay.
Because in relationships based on psychology, there are 2 key principles, which is similarities and proximity. If you're around someone every time, you would see some little things that you like at least. Some like the proximity will lead to the similarity, and you guys just form a bond and you take it from there.
Okay, so I'm actually shocked that you all said that it can happen. So, but my thought is, how do you get to that point? So, for example, an arranged marriage, that's a classic example of there might be no attraction. Your families have met up and said, this is the guy for you, this is the girl for you, and you're going to be together. And I'm sure in cases that they do work, but what are the cases that they don't work? So if you don't have that initial spark, or it's one thing where you're with a friend every day, you know, the guy is your best friend, and then all of a sudden you start to see things, and like you mentioned, you start seeing little things, and then the spark is created.
Yeah, but there's some no-nos.
Yeah, okay, what would you say the other no-nos?
You can't be fat.
Really? Is that what you say? You say the babe cannot be fat?
Yeah, she can't be.
You just went straight in there. Okay, but then what if she was? Are you saying that means you're less likely to find her?
I've dated, you know, like overweight girls, but I don't know. It's not for me, really. I don't think so.
But
I like slim girls.
Okay, fair enough. But surely, with what you've said, something can grow with a girl who's a bit bigger.
That's the thing. I don't want to change who she is and
Yeah.
how she's comfortable and how she's happy.
No, I'm not saying she's going to lose weight too.
Oh, I should just accept her like that.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Okay, no problem. Okay, let me read another testimonial. It says, people have different reasons for entering relationships. It isn't always based on love. I have seen many people learn to love their spouse. It's not uncommon. I think it's wisdom to sometimes go for someone who ticks the major boxes as opposed to someone who makes your heart skip a beat, because feelings fade. Go for what lasts, and you can work on the love. Guy said feelings fade. You're nodding.
Yeah, I mean, I actually agree with what he's saying, because I think when you meet somebody and you have like a really strong attraction to them,
Instant, very heightened.
Yeah, you're actually attracted to an idea of the person, because you don't really get a sense of the person really until you spend time with them. You know, so if you look at a lot of like successful marriages, I mean, my parents have been married for almost 40 years. I mean, they were all arranged, you know, so like get together, you guys have similarities, things that put you in common, you know, there's some physical attraction at least, you know, and that actually is the basis of your relationship. And then over time, you guys work it out and figure it out. But you know, when somebody I'm in love with this person because of how they look or how they behave, you know, you may be in love with that idea, but when you now realize that that's not really what you were looking at, you know, then it breaks up.
Two important things: a physical attraction and a mental attraction.
Okay.
So, which is important to you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can be in love. You can actually get attracted to somebody just based on how they behave, not even their physical like appearance, and even that itself could be a misleading factor, because you find out that that's not really who they are. Yeah. They misrepresent themselves.
So is what you're saying is that it's, you know, okay, like you said, you know, check boxes and things like, if you guys can actually be compatible for the rest of your lives and, you know, be very comfortable with each other without driving each other crazy. But if you're not attracted to each other, does that mean then, you know, you'll be with someone but you're attracted to other people outside the relationship? Isn't that the main problem that we're having now?
Yeah.
That if you're not attracted to the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life, then what's gonna keep me, you know, from going to the bar right after work? You know, I would want to rush home to the woman that I'm attracted to, you know, that I get to spend the rest of my life with.
And which brings me up to my next point. Do you think that relationship is more likely or less likely to last if initially you don't have that spark, you don't have that thing that you're like, oh, I like this person for this reason, because you don't really know them at the beginning?
It should be effortless. I don't think it's supposed to, like they call it the better half. Your better half is supposed to be somebody who comes and makes you happier, and everything becomes better. So if you have to, I know love is work and you have to work in marriage as well, but it should be effortless. You're supposed to be happy, you know, with this person. I think it's meant to be a friendship and a relationship and something that you actually can't get enough of.
Wally, I can hear you.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like you're.
I think there's. I can't really speak for people that actually have experienced that. I think there's some people that actually have seen that happen, and chemistry just is off the charts, and they have a long-lasting relationship. But I also think that there's also something to be said for the compatibility of two people that have similar visions, because it's not always like fireworks at first.
Yeah.
I remember I met my wife maybe 9 years ago, and you know, at first we kind of didn't get along.
Yeah.
So it was kind of very rocky. But then we kind of worked through some of the initial challenges of meeting each other, getting to know each other personally. And then as you live with a person, you have kids with them, and then you grow, you find out that there's more things that you discover. So I don't think I am not necessarily someone that buys into like, hey, right away you get everything in that interaction. And and you know, I just feel that if somebody has the commitment, because relationship is all about commitment, and have similar values and wants similar goals. I mean, I think that's really the basis of how we to be successful.
Okay, I'm going to read out another fact. It says here, people are more likely to be attracted to someone who didn't find them appealing at first, but even eventually warmed up to them than someone who always liked them. This was revealed in a 1972 study by Jerome Tognoli and Robert Keisner about the gain-loss theory of attraction. Also says, according to Dr. Margaret Paul, a relationship expert who's appeared on Oprah, and she's got a PhD in psychology, initial attraction is a very poor indicator on how well a relationship will work out. That's interesting. According to Dr. Paul, the alpha males to whom many women tend to be more attracted are also tend to be more sexually promiscuous. I think that might go without saying, perhaps. So my next question is, let's say it's a loved one, right? And brother, sister, I don't know, even let's say it's your child when they're grown up, and they come to you and they are telling you about some person who, oh, let's say the guy ticks all the right boxes, but I don't have any feelings for him. What would you tell them? Would you tell them to go ahead and give it a shot, or would you not? Drew, what would you do?
Yeah, relationships are not just one way, one door. Like anything can happen. And
So-
if you just give it a shot, you know.
So you would say, oh, you know,
Yeah.
try it out and see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Men are more likely to. Men have time, but women have less time in relationships.
So, explain?
It's the truth.
No, I don't know what you mean.
I received an email from a lady who, a guy who said he found out that he wasn't compatible with his girlfriend
Okay.
5 years later.
Wow.
Right. So, but you're saying he has time to go on and meet
A
someone else?
39-year-old man can marry a 21-year-old lady.
Yes.
But when she's like 33, you know, the age bracket is
TikTok,
it's little.
Is that based on society, or is that just
That's
like
based on society.
Based on
isn't
society,
it?
family, everything.
Well, and the culture and everything. Okay, so you think then, so she's now just wasted 5 years of her life with
Yeah,
someone
5 years.
when she could have probably been married ages ago with
yeah,
someone
and
who...
it would be easier for him to, that he actually has a point.
Okay, so back to the point about...
If my son came to me and he said he wanted to, I'll say, yeah, but if my
but
daughter
your
came,
daughter, okay.
I'll scrutinize. I'll look,
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I see your point. Kwame, what do you think? Would you, with a family member, what would you advise them?
To be honest, when it comes to, relationships, I'll say, go for it and just love with your brain. Think about,
Which is hard.
Yeah, which is hard, yeah. Think about if you're going to spend, a few months, or if you're seeing this going for a few months on, and you're going to use your mental energy, your financial energy, your emotional energy on something that's not going to last anyway. So why are you wasting that energy? But if you feel like something will come out of it, then go for it. But then love with your brain, that's how I always say, think about the future and don't hurt yourself. No, we never do, man. I know.
That's probably the last thing that happens.
Yeah.
Wale, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
if a family member came and asked you what they should do.
I would suggest that they make sure that there's something that at least they can draw to.
Yeah.
I believe there has to be something. And I believe if it's physical, if it's, maybe the person's achievements, there's a lot of things that draw people to other people. So, you can't just say, well, we're similar, so let's just get together. No, there has to be something that kind of keeps you there and makes you willing to work.
Yeah.
So I think there has to be at least a minimum thing that draws both people together. Whether it's a physical attraction or, you guys feel like, each other are accomplished and you guys can do more together. So I just think that I would let them think. I like what you said about, love with your brain. I've seen a lot of my friends that would like fall in love with somebody and they're not, it's like, she's not the right person for you. That, right? But they feel like they're in love. And it usually doesn't work out.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, that's it for part 1. So I want you to sit tight and we'll be right back with part 2. If you guys are watching at home, make sure you join the conversation. Please look at the social media handles and our email address on the screen right now. And what do you think? Can you learn to love someone in a relationship? We've got the all-male perspective. Ladies out there, tell us, what do you think? Is it possible? And we will see you on the other side for part 2. Bye-bye.